Hello everyone! I am Lorraine M. Talimungan, BSN 110 Alicud. For this video, I'll be showing to you how to dissect a pig's heart and locate each part of it. So let's start!
So this is the pig heart. This is pericardium that still covers the heart. The pericardium or pericardial sac is a double-layered closed sac that surrounds the heart and anchors it. This is the myocardium. It is the muscle of your heart called the myocardium. Most of the myocardium is located in the lower of two chambers of the heart called ventricles. This is the apex of the heart, and this is the base of the heart. This is our left atrium or atria, upper chamber to your right. This is our left ventricle, lower chamber to your right. Right atria, upper chamber to your left. Right ventricle, lower chamber to your left. This is coronary artery. These blood vessels lies in the groove on the front of the heart and it branches over the front and the back side of the heart to supply fresh blood with oxygen and nutrients to the heart muscle itself. Pulmonary artery. This blood vessel branches and carries blood to the lungs to receive oxygen and can be found curving out of the right ventricle into your upper chamber to your left. And now, let's have the aorta. This is the major vessel located near the right atria and just behind the pulmonary arteries to the lungs. Locate the curved part of this vessel known as the aortic arch. Branching from the aortic arch is a large artery that supplies blood to the upper body. We also have pulmonary veins, which is a vessels return oxygenated blood from the right and left lungs to the left atrium. Now let's have inferior and superior vena cava. These two blood vessels are located on your left of the heart and connect to the right atrium. The oxygenated blood enters the body through these vessels into the right receiving chamber. Use your probe to feel down into the right atrium. These vessels do not contain valves to control blood flow. Use scissors to cut through the side of the pulmonary artery and continue cutting down into the wall of the right ventricle. Be careful to just cut deep enough to go through the wall of the heart chamber. Your cutting line should be above and parallel to the groove of the coronary artery. With your fingers, push open the heart at the cut to examine the internal structure. If there is dry blood inside the chambers, rinse out the heart. Then locate the right atrium. Notice the thinner muscular wall of this receiving chamber. And this is the inferior and superior vena cava. Enter this chamber and notice the lack of valves. And the valve that between the right atrium and right ventricle is called the tricuspid valve. This valve allows blood flow from the right atrium into the right ventricle during diastole. When the heart begins to contract, ventricular pressure increases until it's greater than the pressure. This is the septum on the right side of the right ventricle. This thick muscular wall separates the right and left pumping ventricles from each other. Inside the right ventricle, we have the pulmonary artery that carries blood away from this chamber. Also, we have the one-way valve called the pulmonary valve that controls blood flow away from the right ventricle at the entrance to this blood vessel. Next, using your scissors or knives, continue to cut open the heart. Start a cut on the outside of the left atrium downward into the left ventricle, cutting toward the apex to the septum at the center groove. Push open the heart at this cut with your fingers and rinse out any dried blood with water. Examine the left atrium. Find the openings of the pulmonary veins from the lungs. Observe the one-way semilunar valves at the entrance to these veins. Inside this chamber, look for the valve that controls blood flow between the upper left atrium and lower left ventricle. This valve is called the bicuspid or mitral valve. This valve consists of two leaflets and blood flows from the left atrium into the left ventricle during diastole. Now let's examine the left ventricle. Notice the thickness of the ventricular wall. This heart chamber is responsible for pumping blood throughout the body. Using your scissors, cut across the left ventricle toward the aorta and continue cutting to expose the valve. Then count the 3 flaps or leaflets on this valve leading from the left ventricle into the aorta and note their half-moon shape. This is called the aortic valve. Using scissors, cut through the aorta and examine the inside. Find the hole or coronary sinus in the wall of this major artery. This leads into the coronary artery which carries blood to and nourishes the heart muscle itself. This heart is a great way to get an idea of the anatomy of human hearts because they are very similar in size, structure, and function. Like human hearts, pig hearts consist of 4 chambers, namely the right and left atriums and the right and left ventricles. They also have 4 valves, namely tricuspid valve, pulmonary valve, mitral valve, and aortic valve, and an aorta, just like us humans. So that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Bye!